I was basting the turkey when Kyle dropped his plate on my counter and said, "Employee, we need more appetizers out there. And the bathroom on the second floor needs cleaning. Diana's family is coming, so make yourself useful or find somewhere else to be today. Employee." In the home my husband built with his own hands, the home where I raised my daughter, the home where every nail and board carried Harold's sweat and love. I set down the basting brush and looked at the man who'd been living under my roof for 2 years. My hand was still on the basting brush. Kyle stood there, waiting for me to obey, like some kind of hired help. The kitchen smelled of sage and roasting turkey, the same smells that had filled this house every Thanksgiving for 30 years. Harold used to carve the bird right here at this counter. Now his son-in-law was calling me employee. "What did you just call me?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. Kyle sighed like I was a slow child. "You heard me. You're living here rent-free, so you might as well earn your keep. Diana and I have been discussing it. You're taking up space we could use for a nursery." The words hit me like cold water. A nursery. In my home. Kyle, this is my home. Harold built it. My name is on the deed. He actually smirked. That's the only word for it. A cruel little twist of his mouth that made my stomach turn. "Actually, Colleen, check again. Diana's name is on it too. Has been since last year. She told you about adding her to the title, remember? For estate planning?" My mind raced back. Yes, Diana had asked me about that. Last February, she'd brought some papers over. Said it was just to make things easier if something happened to me. Avoid probate. I'd signed them because she was my daughter. My only child. Why wouldn't I trust her? "That was just for estate planning," I said, but my voice sounded weak even to my own ears. "Was it?" Kyle pulled out his phone, tapped a few times, then turned it toward me. "Because Diana and I are co-owners now, equal shares. And we've been patient, Colleen, but you're always underfoot. We need our space." The turkey timer went off, a shrill beeping that made me jump. I turned it off with shaking hands. "If you want to stay," Kyle continued, "you need to contribute more than just paying some bills. We're paying the mortgage too, you know." I spun back to face him. "What mortgage? I own this home, free and clear. Harold and I paid it off 15 years ago." Kyle's smirk widened. "Had to take out a home equity line for renovations. Our names are on it. You signed off on that too, remember?" Another memory surfaced. 6 months ago, Diana had brought more papers. Said they were updating the homeowner's insurance. I'd been making dinner. I'd barely glanced at them before signing. "Oh God, those were insurance papers," I whispered. "Were they? You might want to read things more carefully, Colleen." But then again, at your age, memory gets fuzzy. Before I could respond, the kitchen door swung open and Diana walked in. My daughter, 38 years old, wearing a navy dress I'd bought her last Christmas. Her dark hair was pulled back in a neat ponytail. She looked tired. "Mom, we need the appetizers out front. Kyle's parents will be here any minute." I looked at her, really looked at her, searching for the little girl who used to help me bake cookies in this kitchen, the teenager who'd cried on my shoulder over her first heartbreak, the young woman who'd held my hand at Harold's funeral and promised we'd get through it together. "Diana," I said carefully, "did you know Kyle just called me employee? In my own home?" Diana's eyes flicked to Kyle, then back to me. She shifted her weight. "Mom, we've been patient, but Kyle's right. You're always underfoot. We need our space. If you want to stay, you need to contribute more than just paying some bills. We're trying to start our lives here." The words were almost identical to Kyle's, like they'd rehearsed this. "Start your lives? This is my home. The home your father built with his own hands. You want me to leave?" "We're not asking you to leave," Diana said, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. "We're just asking you to help out more, be part of the household, or what?" Kyle stepped closer. "Or we can discuss other arrangements. There are very nice assisted living facilities in the area. I'm 67 years old and in perfect health. I don't need assisted living." "Are you sure about that?" Kyle pulled up something else on his phone. Text messages. He held the screen toward me. The messages were from my number to Diana. I read them with growing horror, feeling so confused lately. Can't remember if I took my medication. Diana, did I already call you today? I can't recall. Wondering if I should look into moving somewhere with more support. This house is too big. I'd never sent any of these messages. I didn't write these, I said. Kyle's eyebrows went up in mock concern. See? This is exactly what we're talking about. Memory issues. We have documentation of your declining mental state, Colleen. You've been texting Diana constantly about your problems. We've been trying to help, but you're becoming difficult. I never sent those messages. Mom, Diana said, and her voice was gentle. Too gentle. The voice you'd use with someone fragile. You did. Look, it's your number. And you've mentioned to me several times that you're feeling forgetful. Remember last month when you said you couldn't find your car keys? Because Kyle had moved them, I said. But even as I said it, I doubted myself. Had he? Or had I just misplaced them? Kyle put his phone away. We consulted with an elder care attorney. Given your condition, Diana has been granted temporary decision-making authority. We were going to tell you after the holidays. Didn't want to ruin Thanksgiving. The room tilted. What? It's just temporary, Mom. Just until we figure out the best path forward. Kyle and I are trying to help you. The doorbell rang. Kyle smiled. That'll be my parents. Now, Colleen, get those appetizers out. We'll discuss your situation after the holidays. And smile. We don't want to worry the family. He walked out of the kitchen. Diana started to follow, then paused. For just a moment she looked back at me. I saw something in her eyes. Guilt? Fear? But then she blinked, and it was gone. The appetizers are in the fridge, Mom. The good serving platter is in the dining room. Then she was gone, too. I stood alone in my kitchen. The kitchen Harold and I had designed together, where we'd shared morning coffee for 33 years, where I'd taught Diana to make her first birthday cake, where Harold had kissed me goodbye the morning he went to work and never came home, his heart giving out on a job site just like that 5 years ago. I looked at the turkey in the oven, the rolls rising on the counter, the sweet potato casserole waiting to be baked. A Thanksgiving feast I'd been preparing for 2 days. For people who'd just called me employee in my own home, my hands were shaking. I grabbed the edge of the counter to steady myself. Think, Colleen. Think. They'd forged text messages. They'd tricked me into signing over partial ownership of my house. They'd taken out a mortgage I didn't know about. They'd somehow gotten a lawyer to grant Diana authority over me. And I'd just found out about all of it while preparing Thanksgiving dinner for Kyle's family. I heard voices from the living room. Laughter. Kyle's father had a booming voice. Where's the lady of the house? Lady of the house. That used to be me. I looked at the appetizers in the fridge. Bacon-wrapped dates, stuffed mushrooms, shrimp cocktail. I'd made them all from scratch. Then I looked at my purse hanging by the back door, my car keys inside it. I could walk out right now. Just leave. Let them serve their own Thanksgiving dinner. But where would I go? This was my home. If I left, I might never get back in. And I had no proof of what they'd done. Just my word against documentation that apparently proved I was mentally incompetent. The smart thing was to stay, observe, gather evidence, figure out what they'd really done and how to undo it. So I took the appetizers out of the fridge. I arranged them on the good serving platter, and I walked into my living room to serve Thanksgiving dinner to the people trying to steal my life. But as I set the platter down on the coffee table, I made myself a promise. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Kyle caught my eye and smiled. A predator's smile. I smiled back. Let him think he'd won. The last guest left around 9 that night. I'd spent 4 hours serving food, clearing plates, refilling drinks, and listening to Kyle's mother, Brenda, go on about how wonderful it was that Diana and Kyle were taking care of poor Colleen in her declining years. I'd smiled. I'd nodded. I'd played the role they'd written for me. Now Diana was in the kitchen loading the dishwasher. Kyle was in the living room, feet up on Harold's favorite recliner, watching football. I went to my bedroom. Except it wasn't my bedroom anymore. Sometime while I was cooking dinner, they'd moved all my belongings into the guest room. The guest room, in my own house. My clothes were crammed into the small closet. My photos were stacked on the dresser. Harold's old sweater, the one I sometimes held when I missed him, was tossed on the bed. I stood in the doorway, looking at my life reduced to one small room. Then I noticed something else. The door had a lock. On the outside. My hands went cold. I needed to call someone. I pulled out my phone. Dead battery. I'd meant to charge it earlier but got distracted with cooking. I went to grab my charger from the outlet by the bed. It wasn't there. I checked the bathroom. Not there either. I searched the entire guest room. No charger anywhere. I went back to the kitchen. Diana was putting away the last of the dishes. Diana? Have you seen my phone charger? No, Mom. Maybe you misplaced it? I need to charge my phone. Can I borrow yours? Mine's a different type. Won't fit your phone. You should get some rest. It's been a long day. I looked at my daughter. Really looked at her. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Where's the landline phone? I'll call Margaret. Oh, we disconnected that last month. To save money. Everything's on cell phones now anyway. Of course they had. I need to go to the store and get a new charger then. Mom, it's 9:30 on Thanksgiving night. Everything's closed. Just go to bed. You can get a charger tomorrow. She kissed my cheek and left the kitchen. Tomorrow. Always tomorrow. I went back to the guest room and tried to think. I needed to get to Margaret's house. Margaret had been my best friend for 20 years. She lived 3 miles away. She'd help me. I'd drive there first thing in the morning. But when I woke up Friday morning and went to the garage, my car wouldn't start. The engine didn't even turn over. I popped the hood. I didn't know much about cars, but I knew what a battery looked like, and I knew the cables were supposed to be attached to it. They weren't. Someone had disconnected my battery. I stood in the garage, looking at my car, and felt the trap closing around me. I went back inside. Kyle was making coffee in the kitchen. My kitchen. Car won't start, I said. Oh no, that's too bad. Want me to take a look at it later? The battery's been disconnected. He took a sip of coffee. Really? That's weird. Maybe the cables came loose. These older cars, you know. Things fall apart. I need my car fixed. Now. Colleen, it's the day after Thanksgiving. Mechanics are closed. I'll look at it Monday. Monday. 3 days away. I need to go to Margaret's house. Margaret? Why? Because she's my friend. And I want to see her. Kyle set down his coffee mug. Colleen, we need to talk. Diana and I are worried about you. Yesterday you claimed you didn't send those text messages. You're forgetting things. Now you're paranoid about your car. These are signs of cognitive decline. We think you should see a doctor. There's nothing wrong with my mind. People with dementia often don't recognize their own symptoms. It's part of the disease. I don't have dementia. Then why can't you remember sending those texts? Why did you accuse me of disconnecting your car battery? Colleen, listen to yourself. You're not making sense. Diana walked in, tying her bathrobe. What's going on? Your mother is having another episode, Kyle said calmly. She thinks I sabotaged her car. Diana looked at me with such pity it made me want to scream. Mom, please. We're trying to help you. Help me? You've stolen my house. You've isolated me. You've forged text messages. And now you've disabled my car so I can't leave. Kyle pulled out his phone again. You want to talk about the house? Let's talk about what you've really been doing. He turned the screen toward me. Bank statements. My bank statements. Showing withdrawals over the past 8 months. 10,000 here. 15,000 there. 5,000. 8,000. All from ATMs in different cities. Pittsburgh. Atlantic City. Philadelphia. $50,000 total. I never made those withdrawals. Kyle zoomed in on the receipts. They had my signature. These ATM locations match casinos. Colleen, you've been gambling. You've been hiding a gambling addiction. That's where your money's been going. I've never been to a casino in my life. You probably don't remember. That's the dementia. Diana had to freeze your accounts to protect you from yourself. She has power of attorney. Do you remember signing that? I remembered signing something Diana had brought over. She'd said it was for medical emergencies, just in case I was ever in the hospital and couldn't make decisions. That was for medical emergencies only. Diana pulled a folder from a kitchen drawer. She slid it across the counter to me. Read it, Mom. I opened the folder. Legal documents, dense paragraphs of lawyer language. But the header was clear. Durable power of attorney. And it gave Diana full financial control. Not just medical decisions. Everything. My signature was on the bottom, notarized by Thomas, my lawyer. When did I sign this? 8 months ago, March 15th. Thomas came to the house, remember? You signed it in front of him. I tried to remember March. Harold's birthday had been March 10th. I'd been sad that whole month. Maybe I had signed something and not paid attention. But Thomas would never have let me sign something without explaining it. Thomas had been our lawyer for 20 years. He'd handled Harold's estate. He'd helped me set up the life insurance payout. He knew I was competent. I need to call Thomas. Good idea, Kyle said. Call him Monday. But I think you'll find he'll confirm everything. He's the one who notarized the power of attorney. I'll call him now. On what phone? Kyle asked pleasantly. Yours is dead, remember? I felt like I was drowning. Every move I tried to make, they were 3 steps ahead. I'll walk to Margaret's house. It's 3 miles, Mom, Diana said. And it's 30 degrees outside. You'll freeze. Then drive me. We're not keeping you prisoner, Kyle said. But we are concerned about your safety. You're clearly disoriented, confused, making accusations. We think you might hurt yourself. I'm not going to hurt myself. That's good. But given your state of mind, we can't take chances. Diana's best friend is a psychiatric nurse. She's recommended we have you evaluated, just to be safe. The word evaluated sent ice through my veins. I don't need a psychiatric evaluation. Then stop acting like you do, Kyle said. His voice was still pleasant, but his eyes were cold. Stop making wild accusations. Stop claiming we're stealing from you. Accept that you're having problems, and let us help you. Or, we'll have no choice but to pursue involuntary evaluation. You can't do that. Actually, we can. Diana has power of attorney. And we have documentation of your decline. The texts, the gambling, your paranoid behavior. A judge would absolutely sign off on a 72-hour psychiatric hold. Diana touched my arm. I flinched away. Mom, please. We don't want to do that. We love you. Just cooperate. Stop fighting us. I looked at my daughter, the little girl I'd rocked to sleep, the teenager I'd helped through heartbreak, the woman I'd held at her father's funeral, and I didn't recognize her. I need to use the bathroom, I said. I went to the guest bathroom and locked the door. I sat on the edge of the tub and tried to think. They'd trapped me, perfectly. Every escape route blocked. No phone, no car, no one to call. Documentation making me look incompetent. Power of attorney giving Diana control. And the threat of involuntary psychiatric commitment hanging over me. If they committed me, even for 72 hours, it would be on my record. It would be more evidence of my declining mental state. It would make everything they'd done look justified. I had to be smart. I had to play along until I found a way out. I flushed the toilet for show and washed my hands. Then I looked at myself in the mirror. Gray hair, 77 years old. Tired eyes, but not defeated, not yet. I went back to the kitchen. Kyle and Diana were sitting at the table, coffee in front of them waiting. I'm sorry, I said. The words tasted like poison. You're right. I've been confused. I'll cooperate. Diana's face flooded with relief. Oh, Mom, thank you. We just want to help you. Kyle nodded approvingly. That's good, Colleen. Very good. Now, why don't you rest today? Tomorrow we'll start discussing long-term plans. Long-term plans? Where you'll be most comfortable. We've looked at some very nice facilities. Or you can stay here, in the guest room, If you're willing to help with household tasks, your choice. Stay in my own house as their servant. Or be shipped off to a facility. I'll think about it, I said. You do that, Kyle said. I went back to the guest room and lay down on the bed, staring at the ceiling. The lock on the outside of the door kept catching my eye. That night, I woke to the sound of the lock clicking into place. They'd locked me in. I tried the door handle. It didn't budge. I went to the window. It faced the backyard. I tried to open it. It was nailed shut. I was a prisoner in my own home. I sat on the floor with my back against the door and let myself feel the full weight of what was happening. They'd taken everything. My house, my money, my freedom, my dignity. And I had no idea how to get it back. I woke up on the floor, stiff and cold. Morning light came through the window. The door was unlocked now. I heard sounds from the kitchen. The smell of coffee. I stood up slowly. My back ached. I was 67 years old, too old to sleep on floors. The door opened, and Diana stood there with a breakfast tray. Toast, eggs, orange juice. Mom, you're awake. I brought you breakfast. She set the tray on the dresser. She was trying to smile, but it looked wrong on her face. You locked me in last night. For your safety. Kyle thought you might wander. Some dementia patients do that at night. I don't have dementia. Then why were you sleeping on the floor? I didn't have an answer for that. At least not one that wouldn't make me sound unstable. Eat your breakfast, Mom. Then maybe take a shower. Kyle's parents are coming over this afternoon. They want to talk to you. After Diana left, I looked at the breakfast. The eggs were scrambled, the way Harold used to make them. The toast was buttered. The orange juice was fresh squeezed. It looked perfect. I didn't trust it. I dumped the eggs in the toilet, poured the orange juice down the sink, wrapped the toast in tissue, and hid it in the trash. If they were drugging me, I wasn't making it easy. I took a shower, got dressed, tried to look normal. Gary and Brenda Douglas arrived at 2. Kyle's parents. Gary was a big man, 6'3", 240 pounds. He'd built a real estate empire, according to Kyle. Brenda was thin and elegant, with silver hair and cold eyes. They sat in my living room, on my couch, drinking coffee from my mugs. Colleen, Gary said, his voice booming. Diana called us. Told us you've been having a rough time. I sat in Harold's chair. It didn't feel like mine anymore. I'm fine. That's not what we hear. Confusion, memory loss, paranoid accusations. He shook his head sadly. My own mother went through this. Early onset dementia. Terrible thing. I don't have dementia. Brenda leaned forward. Sweetheart, denial is part of the disease. We're not here to judge. We're here to help. Kyle and Diana sat on the love seat, holding hands. United front. Gary pulled out a folder. More papers. Always more papers. We've been helping Kyle and Diana with the situation. My lawyer drew these up. They're for your own good, Colleen. He slid the papers toward me. I picked them up, hands shaking. Voluntary commitment papers. For Riverside Evaluation Center. A memory care facility. Just for a few days, Gary said. They'll run some tests, cognitive assessments. If you're really fine, the doctors will say so, and you can come home. And if I refuse? Gary's smile faded. Then we'll have to pursue involuntary commitment. Diana has power of attorney. I know a judge, good friend of mine. He'll sign the order this afternoon if necessary. You're threatening me. We're trying to help you, Brenda said. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I looked at the papers, then at Diana. My daughter was crying. Real tears this time. Diana, please. You know I'm not sick. She wiped her eyes. Mom, I don't know what to believe anymore. You've been so confused. And now you're fighting us on getting help. If you're really fine, prove it. Go to the evaluation. Let them test you. It was a trap. I knew it was a trap. But I also knew if I refused, they'd have me committed anyway, and it would look worse. At least if I went voluntarily, I might have some control. If I go, how long? 72 hours, Gary said. Standard evaluation period. 3 days. I could survive 3 days. And if the doctors say I'm competent, then you come home, Kyle said. No more discussions about facilities. You can stay here. It was a lie. I knew it was a lie. But what choice did I have? I need to use the bathroom first. I went to the guest bathroom and locked the door. I looked around for a way out. The window was too small. The door was the only exit. I could barricade myself in here, refuse to come out. But that would just prove their point about my mental state. I had to think of something else. Then I heard Margaret's voice. Diana, I came as soon as I could. Is your mother okay? Margaret, my friend, here. I flushed the toilet and opened the door, rushed down the hall to the living room. Margaret stood in the doorway, still in her coat. She was 65, with short gray hair and sharp eyes. She saw me and smiled. Colleen, thank God. Diana called, said you were having trouble. No, Diana had called her. To control the narrative, I ran to Margaret, grabbed her arm, whispered quickly, they're stealing everything. Call Thomas. Monday. Trust me. But Kyle heard. He was right behind me. See, Margaret? She's paranoid. We're not stealing anything. We're trying to help. Margaret looked at me. I tried to communicate everything with my eyes. Please believe me. Please help me. Colleen, what's going on? Margaret asked carefully. They've forged documents. Taken my house. They want to commit me. Margaret, please, I'm not crazy. Kyle gently pulled me back. This is exactly what we're talking about. False accusations. Paranoia. We're not stealing from her. We live here. We're family. Gary stepped forward. Ma'am, I don't know who you are, but this is a family matter. Colleen needs professional help. We have the documentation, medical records, financial records. Everything. I'm Colleen's best friend. I've known her for 20 years. She was fine last month. Things can decline quickly at this age, Brenda said sympathetically. My mother was the same way. Fine 1 month, completely gone the next. I looked at Margaret, made a decision. In front of everyone, I said it clearly. Margaret, I'm fine. Just family stuff. I'll call you next week. I said it to protect her. If they thought she believed them, they might not block her from helping. Margaret's eyes narrowed. She understood. Okay, Colleen. Call me next week. Promise? I promise. Margaret left, but not before squeezing my hand hard. A promise. She'd help. But Kyle was furious. That's it. We're not waiting. You're going to Riverside tonight. Kyle, let's not rush, Diana started. She just tried to manipulate your friend against us. She's getting worse. She goes tonight. Gary nodded. I'll make the call. The transport service can be here in an hour. Transport service? My voice cracked. Private ambulance. For patients who need private ambulance. For patients who need assistance with transfers. They were going to force me out. Tonight. An hour later, headlights lit up the driveway. A white van. 2 men in scrubs got out. Gary answered the door. She's in the living room. She may resist. The men came in. They were big, professional. They'd done this before. Mrs. Harper? I'm Frank. This is Joel. We're here to take you to Riverside for evaluation. I don't want to go. Ma'am, you signed voluntary commitment papers. I was coerced. Frank and Joel exchanged glances. They'd heard this before, too. Mrs. Harper, you can come voluntarily, or we can physically assist you. Your choice. I looked around my living room, the home Harold built. Every piece of furniture held a memory. The couch where we'd watched movies. The chair where Harold read the newspaper every morning. The bookshelf he'd built by hand. I was being dragged out of my own home. I made one last desperate attempt. I ran for the front door. Frank caught me easily. His hands were gentle but firm on my arms. Mrs. Harper, please don't make this harder. This is my house. They're stealing it. Ma'am, you're confused. These people are your family. They're trying to help you. I screamed. Actually screamed. Someone help me. Call the police. They're kidnapping me. Lights went on in the neighbor's house across the street. Kyle said smoothly, "It's okay, everyone. Just a difficult situation. She's ill. We're getting her help." The neighbors watched from their windows. Pitying looks. Poor old woman. Lost her mind. Frank and Joel walked me to the van. Diana was crying. Kyle had his arm around her. Gary and Brenda stood in the doorway like sentries. As they loaded me into the van, I took one last look at my house. The porch light was on. Harold had installed that light himself. He'd wanted me to always be able to see my way home. I wondered if I'd ever see it again. The fan doors closed, and they drove me away. Riverside Evaluation Center looked nice from the outside. Brick building, well-maintained lawn, flower beds with mums still blooming in late November. It looked like a place that helped people. Inside was different. Locked doors, cameras, staff in scrubs watching everything. They took my purse, my shoes, my jacket, left me in paper scrubs and grip socks. A woman with a clipboard sat across from me in a small room. Dr. Patterson, maybe 52 years old. Kind eyes. I wanted to trust those eyes. "Mrs. Harper, I'm Dr. Patterson. I'll be overseeing your evaluation. Can you tell me why you're here?" "Because my daughter's husband is stealing my house, and they needed me out of the way." She wrote something on her clipboard. "Your family says you've been experiencing confusion and memory loss. Do you feel that's accurate?" "No. I feel they've been forging documents and manipulating me." More writing. "These feelings of persecution, when did they start?" "They're not feelings. They're facts. Kyle called me employee in my own home. Diana forged text messages to make me look incompetent. They disconnected my car battery. They locked me in a room." "Mrs. Harper, I understand you're upset, but your family has provided extensive documentation of cognitive decline, medical records, witness statements, bank records showing erratic financial behavior. Those records are fake." "All of them?" I heard how I sounded. Paranoid. Delusional. Exactly what they wanted. Dr. Patterson's voice was gentle. "Why don't we run some tests? Cognitive assessments. If you're truly competent, the tests will show that." "When?" "Tomorrow morning, after you've rested." They put me in a room. Bed bolted to the floor. Window that didn't open. Camera in the corner. A nurse came in with pills in a small cup. "Medication time, Mrs. Harper." "What is it?" "Something to help you sleep. It's required for all patients." "I don't want it. You can take it voluntarily, or we'll administer it by injection." "Hospital policy." I took the pills, put them in my mouth. The nurse watched me swallow. After she left, I tried to spit them out, but they'd already started dissolving. My mouth was bitter with the taste. Within 20 minutes, the room started to blur. I woke up disoriented, light coming through the window. Morning? Afternoon? I didn't know. A different nurse brought breakfast. "Eat up, Mrs. Harper. You have testing in an hour." I ate. Toast and eggs. My hands felt clumsy. Everything seemed far away. Dr. Shaw came to get me, neuropsychologist. He led me to a testing room. "We're going to do some cognitive assessments, Mrs. Harper. Just answer the questions as best you can." The test started simple. "What's your name? What's today's date? Who's the president?" I answered fine at first. Then he showed me pictures. "Do you recognize these people?" Photos of Diana, Kyle, Harold. But something was wrong. The pictures seemed to move. My vision swam. "That's my daughter." "No." "My son?" "Wait." The words came out wrong. My tongue felt thick. "Take your time, Mrs. Harper." I tried to focus. "That's Diana, my daughter. And that's my husband, Harold. He's... Tears rolled down my face. When did I start crying? "It's okay, Mrs. Harper. Let's move on." More questions. Simple math. I couldn't do it. Numbers swam together. "What's 17 minus 8? 12? No, that's not right." "It's okay. Try this one. Spell world backwards. DLR. I can't remember." By the end of the test, I was crying openly. I couldn't think, couldn't focus. Everything was wrong. Dr. Shaw's face was kind but concerned. "That's enough for today, Mrs. Harper. Let's get you back to your room." In my room, I lay on the bed. The fog started to clear, and I understood. They'd drugged me. The pills last night, maybe even something in the breakfast. I just failed the competency test because they'd made sure I would fail, I screamed. Beat my fists against the wall. 2 nurses came running. One held my arms, the other brought more pills. "Mrs. Harper, you need to calm down. I was drugged. I failed the test because you drugged me. Ma'am, the medication is for your own good. You're having an episode." They made me take more pills. Stronger ones this time. Everything went dark. I woke up, and it was night. My mouth was dry. My head pounded. Someone was in my room. I couldn't see clearly. "Colleen?" A man's voice. "Who?" "It's Thomas, your lawyer. Margaret called me. I demanded to see you." "Thomas." I tried to sit up. The room spun. "Thomas. They drugged me. I failed the tests because they drugged me." "Colleen, listen carefully. Are you lucid right now?" "Yes, more than before. I didn't take the evening pills, hid them under my tongue." "Good. Tell me what happened." I told him everything. The forged texts, the power of attorney, the house deed, Kyle's threats, the forced commitment, the drugged tests. Thomas listened, his face getting harder. "The power of attorney Diana has. When did you sign it?" She said March. "But I don't remember." "Let me see it." He pulled out a folder, read through documents. His face went pale. "Colleen, this power of attorney is dated March 15th. It's notarized. By me." "You notarized it?" "No. This isn't my signature. It's close, but it's not mine. And this seal, the number's wrong. Someone forged this." Hope flared. "Then it's void, right?" "Yes. But proving it will take time. I'll need to file motions, get handwriting experts, challenge everything." "How long?" "Days. Maybe weeks." "I don't have weeks. They're going to keep me here. Keep drugging me. Keep proving I'm incompetent." Thomas stood. "I'll file emergency motions tomorrow. Get you a court hearing." "But Colleen, they have a lot of documentation. This is going to be a fight." After he left, I lay in the dark. At least Thomas believed me. At least I had someone on my side. But it might not be enough. The next day was Sunday, visiting hours. Diana came, alone. She sat in the chair by my bed. I didn't look at her. "Mom, the doctors showed me the test results. You scored very low. You threw food at breakfast. You don't even remember it." I did remember. I'd been so angry, so drugged. I'd knocked my tray off the table. They'd filmed it. "Diana, you know I'm not sick." "I don't know what to believe anymore, Mom." I looked at her then. Really looked. She was thinner, dark circles under her eyes. She looked haunted. "Is this about the house?" I asked. "If you need it, take it. Just let me go." Diana's face changed. The guilt vanished. Something cold appeared. "The house is already ours, Mom. You signed it over yesterday." "What?" "Power of attorney. I transferred the deed entirely to Kyle and me. You don't own it anymore. It's done." The room spun. "No, I didn't sign anything." "You didn't have to. I have legal authority to act on your behalf. Kyle thought it would be cleaner this way." Kyle thought. Everything was Kyle's idea. "Why?" I whispered. "I'm your mother." Diana stood. "I have to go. Kyle's waiting in the car." She left without looking back. I stared at the wall. They'd stolen my house. The house Harold built. 30 years of memories. Gone. And I was locked in here with no way to fight back. That night, they brought more pills. I took them. Let them think I was broken. But under my tongue I kept them, spit them out after the nurse left. I needed to stay lucid. Because if I didn't, I'd never get out of here. And I had to get out. I had to fight. Harold's house was still mine, no matter what papers Diana signed. Fraud doesn't make a thing legal. I just had to prove it. And I had to survive long enough to do it. Monday morning. I woke early, before the nurses came with pills. I'd been hiding them for 2 days now. My head was clearer than it had been. I heard voices outside my door, nurses talking. Third one this month. The Douglas family again? Yeah, same pattern. Gary Douglas's son Kyle. They target wealthy widows. The daughter seemed upset though. They always get a family member involved. Makes it legal. Sad. My breath caught. This wasn't the first time. Kyle had done this before. The door opened. Different nurse. Mrs. Harper, you have a visitor. Thomas. Thank God. He looked terrible, like he hadn't slept. I filed emergency motions this morning. Judge wouldn't hear them. Said the power of attorney was valid on its face. Proving forgery takes time. I don't have time. I know. But Colleen, there's something else, something worse. He showed me his phone. An email from the Pennsylvania Bar Association. A complaint had been filed against him, by Diana, alleging he'd taken advantage of me when I was mentally incompetent, pressured me into unnecessary estate planning for his own profit. They're trying to destroy your career. They're trying to make me withdraw from your case. Thomas sat heavily. Gary Douglas called me this morning. Said if I back off, Diana will drop the complaint. If I keep pushing, he'll make sure I'm disbarred. Thomas, I can't lose you too. You won't. I don't respond to threats. But I wanted you to know what we're up against. After Thomas left, I sat alone. They'd blocked every avenue, trapped me completely. Late afternoon, Gary Douglas arrived. He walked into my room like he owned it. Filled the doorway with his bulk. Colleen, how are we feeling today? What do you want? Just checking on you. Making sure you're comfortable. These places can be so depressing. You're enjoying this. Gary smiled. You've already lost, Colleen. The house is sold. Contracts are signed. Closes Thursday. Buyers already lined up. Through my development company, of course. Below market value, but Diana's motivated. Thursday. 3 days. You can't sell my house. It's not your house anymore. Diana owns it. She signed the sale agreement this morning. $450,000. Nice neighborhood, good bones. Worth $600 easy, but desperate sellers take what they can get. $450,000. For the house Harold spent a year building. The house we raised Diana in. The house that held every memory of my marriage. Why are you doing this? Gary leaned close. Because we can. Because there are women like you everywhere. Widows sitting on property, thinking they're safe. You're not safe, Colleen. You're vulnerable. And people like me, we see opportunities where you see homes. I'll fight you. With what? You're locked in a psychiatric facility. You've been declared incompetent. Your lawyer's about to be disbarred. And in 3 days, the house will belong to my company. Then we'll flip it. $700,000 probably. Nice profit. He started to leave, then turned back. Oh, and Colleen? After the house sells, Diana's going to move you to a state facility. Can't afford private care without the house money. State facilities are unpleasant. But you'll have plenty of time to think about your mistakes. The door closed. I sat on the bed. Everything lost. The house, my freedom, my dignity, my daughter. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in the dark thinking about Harold, about the life we'd built, about Diana as a little girl, helping Harold hammer nails, wearing a tiny tool belt, laughing. What had Kyle done to her? How had he convinced her to betray her own mother? Or had Diana wanted this all along? Was I that blind? Around 3 a.m, I heard something. Voices in the hall, urgent. Then my door opened. Not a nurse, a woman in a suit. Mrs. Harper? I'm FBI agent Sarah Brooks. We need to talk. I sat up. FBI? Margaret Brennan contacted us. She's been investigating your case. She found something interesting. Agent Brooks sat in the chair, opened a laptop. Gary and Kyle Douglas. We've been investigating them for 18 months. Interstate financial fraud, elder abuse. This is the 4th case. She turned the laptop toward me. Files. photos. 3 other women, all widows, all elderly, all lost their homes to the Douglas family. Kyle married 3 times. Each time he targeted the bride's wealthy mother. First wife's mother lost her home in Ohio. Committed to facility, died there 6 months later. Second wife's mother in Maryland. Same pattern. Third wife left him when she figured it out, but by then the mother had already been cleaned out. Diana's the 4th wife. Yes, and you're the 4th victim. But you're the first one who fought back. Margaret calling your lawyer pushing back, it flagged our investigation. Hope surged. Can you help me? We're building a case. But we need evidence. And we need you competent to testify. They've been drugging me, making me fail tests. We suspected. That's why I'm here. I have a court order for your immediate release pending independent psychiatric evaluation. She handed me papers. Federal court order, signed by a judge I'd never heard of. Get dressed, Mrs. Harper. We're getting you out of here. 10 minutes later, I walked out of Riverside. Free. Agent Brooks drove me to Margaret's house. Margaret opened the door, saw me, and burst into tears. Oh, thank God. Colleen, I was so scared. I hugged my friend. The first real human contact I'd had in days. How did you know? You told me to call Thomas. I did. Then I started digging. Found articles about Gary Douglas. Real estate fraud. I called the FBI tip line. They were already investigating. They just needed a push. Inside Margaret's house, Agent Brooks opened her briefcase. Here's the situation. We have evidence of a pattern. But to prosecute, we need proof of conspiracy in your case specifically. We need Kyle's files. His computer. His communications with Gary. Those are in my house. In the bedroom, Kyle took over. The house sells Thursday. After that, evidence might disappear. Thomas arrived, looking stunned. Colleen. Thank God. Agent Brooks called me. He sat down heavily. The power of attorney. I had it analyzed. The notary seal is fake. The signature isn't mine. It's forgery. But proving it in time to stop the sale. We don't have to stop the sale, Agent Brooks said. We have to stop them. Thursday morning, Kyle and Diana will be at the closing. That's when we arrest them. I looked at her. What about the house? Fraudulent sale? It'll be voided. But Mrs. Harper, you should know. Diana's going to prison. She's complicit in everything. The evidence is clear. My daughter, going to prison. I understand, I whispered. That night, I slept at Margaret's house. In a guest room that wasn't locked. With a phone that worked. With my freedom. But I couldn't stop thinking about Diana. About the little girl who used to curl up on my lap. About the woman who'd chosen a monster over her mother. Tuesday and Wednesday passed in a blur. Agent Brooks prepared me to testify. Thomas filed motions to invalidate everything. Wednesday night, Agent Brooks called. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., closings at the title company downtown. We'll have agents positioned outside. When Kyle and Diana sign the fraudulent papers, we move in. What do you need me to do? Stay here. Stay safe. Let us handle it. But Thursday morning, I couldn't stay away. I had Margaret drive me to the title company. We parked down the street. At 9:55, Kyle's car pulled up. He got out, looking smug. Then Diana, she looked sick. They walked into the building. Agent Brooks and 3 other agents were in an unmarked car nearby. At 10:15, they went in. I watched through the windshield, waiting. Then Kyle came out, in handcuffs, face red with fury. Diana came next, also in handcuffs. She was crying. Our eyes met across the distance, mother and daughter. One last look before everything changed forever. She mouthed something. I'm sorry. Too late. Decadus, too late. They put her in the car and drove away. Agent Brooks came over to Margaret's car. It's done. We found Kyle's laptop in the car. Emails to Gary detailing the entire fraud, including forged documents. Bank accounts in the Cayman Islands. Evidence of 3 previous schemes. They're both going away for a long time. What about the house? Yours. Sales void. Deed transfer is void. Everything's back in your name. You'll need to meet with Thomas to fix the paperwork, but legally, you never lost it. I sat in the car. I should feel victorious, relieved. Instead, I just felt tired. My daughter was going to prison. I'd won. But the cost was everything. The next few hours moved in a strange blur. Thomas met me at the house. My house. He had keys made, changed all the locks. Just in case, he said. Though Kyle and Diana won't be coming back. I walked through the rooms. Everything was different. They'd moved furniture, changed things. The master bedroom that used to be mine was still set up as Kyle and Diana's. In the closet, I found Kyle's computer. The FBI had already copied everything, but they'd left it here. Evidence of my life being dismantled. Margaret helped me move my things back into the master bedroom, back into Harold's and my room. I'm staying tonight, she announced. You shouldn't be alone. I didn't argue. That evening, Agent Brooks came by with updates. Kyle's being charged with conspiracy to commit elder fraud, forgery, wire fraud, and interstate racketeering. Gary's facing even more charges. He's been running this operation for 5 years. We found 12 victims across 6 states. And Diana? Agent Brooks's face softened. She's cooperating. Gave us everything. Detailed timeline of how Kyle manipulated her. How he isolated her from friends. Made her financially dependent. Convinced her you were the problem. Classic abuser pattern. Does that excuse what she did? No, but it explains it. The prosecutor is offering a plea deal. 4 years, work release after 2, if she continues cooperating and pays full restitution. 4 years. My daughter would be 42 when she got out. Can I see her? Not yet. She's in federal custody. But soon, when you're ready. After Agent Brooks left, I sat in Harold's chair. The house was quiet, empty. I'd won my house back, but I'd lost my daughter. Was it worth it? The thought felt like betrayal. Of course it was worth it. Diana had committed crimes. She deserved consequences. But she was still my little girl. Margaret brought me tea. Sat with me. You did the right thing, she said quietly. Did I? I could have just let them have the house. Taken the assisted living option. At least Diana would be free. And then what? They'd have stolen from the next widow. And the next. You stopped them, Colleen. You saved other mothers from going through this. Maybe. But it didn't feel like saving. It felt like losing. I didn't sleep that night. I walked through the house Harold built, touched the walls he'd framed, the cabinets he'd installed, the floor he'd laid board by board. He'd built this house for our family, for Diana, and she'd tried to steal it. Friday morning, Thomas came by with paperwork. Everything's being reversed. The deed is back in your name only. Your bank accounts are unfrozen. The power of attorney is officially voided. You're legally in control again. What about the money Diana withdrew? The $450,000 from the attempted sale? FBI froze it. It'll be returned to you once the case is settled. Might take months, but you'll get it back. At least there was that. Over the next few days, I started to piece my life back together. Fixed the lock on the guest room door. Removed it entirely. Reconnected my car battery. Got a new phone. Margaret came by every day. Brought groceries. Made dinner. Kept me company. You should call the support group, she said one evening. The one for elder fraud victims Agent Brooks mentioned. Maybe. Colleen, you can't hide in this house forever. I'm not hiding. I'm healing. But maybe she was right. Maybe I needed to talk to other people who'd been through this, who understood. 2 weeks after the arrests, Agent Brooks called. Diana wants to see you. She's being held at the county facility pending trial. You don't have to go, but she asked. I thought about it for a long time. Finally, I said yes. The county jail was gray and cold. Institutional. I sat in a visiting room, separated from Diana by glass. We had to talk through phones. Diana looked terrible. Prison clothes hung on her thin frame. Her hair was pulled back. No makeup. She looked young, vulnerable, like the daughter I remembered. Mom. Her voice through the phone was thick with tears. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Why did you do it? I don't know. Kyle made it seem so reasonable at first. He said you had too much house for one person, said we could all live there comfortably, help you out. Then it became about money, about security. He made me afraid of being alone, of ending up with nothing. He twisted everything. You chose him over me. I know. I made terrible choices. I can't undo them. I can't make it right. All I can say is I'm sorry. We sat in silence. The phone felt heavy in my hand. I love you, I said finally. I loved you from the moment you were born. I loved you through your first steps, your first words, your first heartbreak. I loved you when your father died, and we cried together. And I still love you now. But I don't know if I can forgive you. Diana nodded. Fresh tears. I understand. I don't forgive myself either. You're going to prison. I know. 4 years, if I cooperate. I'm testifying against Kyle and Gary, helping other victims. It's the least I can do. It won't bring back what you took. I know. More silence. Then Diana said, There's something I need to tell you. About Kyle, about how we met. She told me everything. How Kyle had pursued her aggressively after her divorce. How he'd seemed perfect at first, attentive, loving. How gradually he'd isolated her from friends, made her quit her job, controlled the money. How by the time she realized what was happening, she was trapped. He told me you didn't respect me, that you treated me like a child. He made me angry at you for things that never happened. He twisted my memories. That doesn't excuse what you did. No, it doesn't. But Mom, he's done this before. To other daughters, other mothers. Agent Brooks showed me the files. Those women died in facilities, alone, believing their daughters hated them. I almost did that to you. I closed my eyes. She almost had. What do you want from me, Diana? Nothing. I don't deserve anything. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry, and that I'm glad you fought back. I'm glad you won, even if it meant putting me here. The guard announced visiting time was ending. I have to go, Diana said. I'll come back, I heard myself say. Not next week, maybe not next month, but I'll come back. Diana's face crumpled with relief. Thank you. That's more than I deserve. I left the jail and sat in Margaret's car. Cried for the first time since this all started. Really cried. For the daughter I'd lost. For the life that was stolen. For the trust that was broken. Let it out, Margaret said, holding my hand. I did. And when the tears finally stopped, I felt something new. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But maybe the beginning of healing. 3 months later. February brought cold rain and gray skies, but inside my house I was warm. I'd spent the past months reclaiming my space. Repainting, redecorating, making it mine again. The master bedroom was no longer Kyle and Diana's. It was mine. I'd bought new furniture, new bedding, hung Harold's photos on the walls. The guest room was a guest room again, bright and welcoming, with no locks on the doors. The kitchen smelled like bread. I was making Harold's recipe, the one his mother taught him, the one I'd make every Saturday morning when Diana was little. Margaret sat at the table, drinking coffee. You're coming with me to the support group meeting tonight, right? Yes. I'd been going for 6 weeks now, meeting other elderly people who'd been scammed by family members. It helped, knowing I wasn't alone, knowing others had survived too. And you're still visiting Diana this weekend? Yes. I'd been visiting every 2 weeks. We didn't talk about the crime. We talked about books, about the weather, about memories from when she was young. Slowly, carefully, we were building something new. Not the relationship we'd had. That was gone forever. But something honest, real. Diana had been sentenced. 4 years federal prison, with work release after 18 months, if she continued cooperating. She was testifying against Kyle and Gary in 6 other cases, helping prosecutors build cases for victims who couldn't speak for themselves anymore. It didn't erase what she'd done to me, but it was something. Kyle had gotten 8 years. No work release, no early parole. Gary was facing 15 years. His real estate empire had collapsed. All his assets frozen. Victims were being compensated. Brenda had divorced Gary, claimed she knew nothing. No one believed her, but she hadn't been charged. The doorbell rang. I wiped flour from my hands and answered it. Thomas stood there with a folder. He was smiling. "It's done. The last of the paperwork. Your accounts are fully restored. The $450,000 is back in your possession. Everything's in order." He handed me the folder. Deed to my house. Bank statements. Everything back where it belonged. "There's one more thing," Thomas said. "I've drafted a new will and an ironclad trust. No one can touch your assets now, not without your explicit consent, and I mean explicit. Witnessed, recorded, the works. Thank you, Thomas. It's my job. And Colleen, for what it's worth, you're the bravest client I've ever had." After he left, I looked at the papers. My life, documented, protected, safe. But more than the paperwork, I felt something else. Power, control, strength. They'd tried to take everything. And for a while they had. But I'd fought back. I'd survived. The phone rang. Agent Brooks. "Mrs. Harper, I wanted to let you know. We arrested another family, Colorado. Same pattern. Gary Douglas had connected them with his son's operation. Thanks to Diana's testimony, we caught them before they completed the theft. Saved a 74-year-old widow and her home. That's good news." "It is. And Mrs. Harper? We're recommending you for a civilian citation. Your willingness to fight, to testify, it's helped us build cases in 12 states. You've saved a lot of people." After the call ended, I stood in my kitchen. The kitchen where Kyle had called me employee, where this nightmare had begun, but also where it had ended, where I'd chosen to fight instead of submit. I pulled the bread from the oven, golden brown, perfect. Margaret came in, inhaled deeply. "Smells like Harold's." "It is Harold's." I thought it was time to start making it again. We sat at the table with warm bread and butter. Simple. Good. "Are you happy?" Margaret asked. I thought about it. I'm not sure happy is the right word. I'm at peace. I have my home, my freedom, my dignity. Diana and I are talking again, even if it's complicated. And I'm helping other people avoid what happened to me. That's more than most people get. Yes, it is. That evening, I went to the support group, stood up, and shared my story. The whole story. From Kyle calling me employee to the FBI arrests to visiting my daughter in prison. When I finished, the room was silent. Then, an elderly man in the back raised his hand. "How do you forgive?" "My son stole my retirement. I can't forgive him." I thought carefully before answering. I don't know if I've forgiven Diana. Maybe I never will, not completely. But I've accepted that what happened doesn't define who I am. They took my house for a while. They took my freedom. But they couldn't take my strength. I wouldn't let them. A woman spoke up. I was so ashamed. I thought I was stupid for letting it happen. "You're not stupid. They're criminals. They're good at what they do. That's why it works. But we're survivors. We're here. We're talking about it. We're helping each other. That's power." After the meeting, several people came up to thank me, to share their stories, to say my courage had helped them. I drove home through the rain, pulled into my driveway, looked at my house. Harold's house. Our house. My house. Every nail still carried his love. Every board still held our memories. They'd tried to steal it. But you can't steal love. You can't steal memories. You can't steal strength. I went inside, locked the door behind me. My lock, my key, my choice. In the living room, I sat in Harold's chair, looked around at everything we'd built together. "I did it," I whispered to him. "I got our house back. I kept my dignity. I chose freedom." I imagined him smiling, proud. The house settled around me. Familiar creaks. The heater clicking on. The refrigerator humming in the kitchen. Home. Safe. Mine. They'd wanted a maid. Someone to use and discard. Someone whose life didn't matter. They'd gotten a fighter instead. Kyle was in federal prison. Gary's empire was destroyed. Diana was paying for her choices. And me? I was right here, in the home Harold built, living on my terms. I'd given Kyle the keys that Thanksgiving Day in my mind, thinking I'd lost everything, but I'd come back. I'd reclaimed it all. And I'd learned something important. Something I wanted to share with anyone listening. Your dignity is not negotiable. Your home is your sanctuary. Your rights don't disappear because you're older. And family betrayal, as devastating as it is, doesn't have to destroy you. You can survive. You can fight back. You can win. I'm 77 years old. I've survived the death of my husband, the betrayal of my daughter, the theft of my home, forced institutionalization, systematic gaslighting, and I'm still standing. That's not weakness. That's power. They thought my age made me vulnerable. They learned otherwise. Every person who's ever been dismissed because of their age, who's been told they're too old to understand, who's been patronized and manipulated, I want you to know something. You are strong. You are capable. You have rights. And no one, not even family, has the right to take those from you. I chose freedom over being used. I chose dignity over peace. I chose to fight back, even when it cost me my relationship with my daughter. And I'd make the same choice again, because some things are worth fighting for. Your home, your independence, your self-respect, those are worth everything. I sit here now, in February's cold, in the house that's truly mine again, and I feel something I haven't felt in months. Hope. Not just for me, but for everyone who's been where I was, who's been dismissed, stolen from, betrayed. You can survive this. You can fight back. You can win. And when you do, when you reclaim your life and your power, you'll understand what I know now. The keys were always mine. The house was always mine. The strength was always mine. They just tried to make me forget. But I remembered, and I won. Now I want to hear from you. Have you or someone you know faced financial abuse from family members? What would you do in my situation? Would you have fought back, or would you have walked away? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might help someone else who's going through something similar. If this story touched you, if it made you think about the elderly people in your life who might be vulnerable, please hit that like button. It helps get this message to more people who need to hear it. And subscribe to this channel. There are more stories like mine. Stories of survival, of fighting back, of choosing dignity over submission. You won't want to miss them. Most importantly, share this video. Share it with anyone who might need to hear that they're not alone, that they can fight back. That age doesn't equal helplessness. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. I hope you never need the lessons I learned, but if you do, I hope you remember this. You are stronger than you know. Your life matters. Your dignity matters. And no one, absolutely no one, has the right to take that from you. Stay strong, stay vigilant, and never, ever let anyone make you feel small in your own home. This is Colleen, signing off. Take care of yourselves and each other.